Coming up on AgweekTV, we kick off a special report on preparing the next generation for ag with a look at some innovative high school programs. Some farmers are racing against the weather to finish the harvest. We'll travel to a Minnesota pumpkin patch that's known for its horse-drawn carriage rides. And a rural North Dakota man is the world's longest surviving heart transplant recipient. Welcome to AgweekTV. I'm Emily Beal. How is the ag industry preparing for the next generation? This week, we're launching a series of special reports on the topic. We start with a look at one of North Dakota's top ag education programs. It's this week's Ag Week cover story.
All 8th graders think it is farming and ranching. Cows, horses, pigs, and crops.
Ag classes are required for 8th graders in Harvey, North Dakota. But ag teacher Jody Free says they soon learn it's so much more.
We need to teach students where their food comes from and where their clothing comes from. All students can relate somehow to something in the world of ag, whether it's plants, animals, ag business, construction, welding, woodworking, and that knowledge base and the skills it gives them will help them in anything they really do in the future.
And Free hopes it will trigger an interest in a career in ag for some students. Harvey Superintendent Robbie Lukens says studies bear out the demand for ag education.
Helping the economy and helping feeding the workforce, giving those tradable skills to students. Lukens
credits the staff for this top-tier program. He says they go above and beyond in helping students, and the community is supportive. FFA Vice President Grant Anderson says even growing up on a farm, he had no idea how many opportunities there are in ag until he got involved in the program.
So, knowing what's out there going forth is really big. And then there's also some of those like hands-on skills that you learn through these classes.
Ashley Keller was a new student from Bismarck as a sophomore when she took an ag class to fill up her schedule. She didn't know anything about ag at first.
I got pulled into agronomy. Literally, one of my classmates grabbed me by the wrist and pulled me into the classroom after school, and I stayed. And every day I just came back and I really enjoyed it, and now I'm competing in agronomy.
A Minnesota high school has a unique new program with the help of a grant from the state ag department to beef up meat processing education in the state. Lackaperla Valley got a $70,000 grant to build a mobile meat processing trailer. The school is collaborating with Ridgewater College in Wilmer to develop curriculum for meat processing classes. 9 schools got these grants. Ag teacher and FFA advisor Paige Vanderworth says she and her colleagues started making a plan for the trailer when they learned about the state grants.
My coworkers and we talked about how this would be a good thing for our students because we have a lot that will end up working in processing plants in our local area. So we decided that this is something that we wanted to pursue, and we figured that we would not have a space in our school to do it, so we had to come up with a different way.
Ridgewater meat cutter instructor Sophia Thomas says they have many corporate partnerships.
We have so many partnerships around the country, honestly, who are interested and supportive of this program, as well as who are always willing to host students because they recognize that need and they want those types of workers.
The school plans to make the trailer available to other Minnesota schools, as well as take it to events where they can demonstrate meat processing. Another innovative ag program is growing in South Dakota. FFA students in Ethan are building sensory gardens and wheelchair-accessible raised garden beds at the LifeQuest residential facility. It got started with a $500 grant from the state FFA Foundation.
Ethan FFA chapter's historian Amira Yerke is passionate about helping people with disabilities. Her mom works for LifeQuest.
My mom works at the shop where they keep them busy during the day, doing all kinds of stuff, fun activities, learning, stuff like that, just to keep them busy. And she was talking about how they just didn't seem to get outside enough, and that's something that everyone needs to do no matter who you are.
That inspired Yerke to apply for an FFA grant so she and her fellow students could build sensory gardens and accessible garden beds for the residents.
I just got to thinking, and in my head I could kind of draw it up like it would be so simple to make a garden bed that was wheelchair accessible, and it just hasn't been done.
Not only will the gardens be a great place for those in wheelchairs, but the sensory garden will teach people with a variety of learning disabilities about plants and gardening using all of their senses.
In my past, I've worked with students with disabilities, and I have found that if you give them something that they can hold, taste, smell, touch, that they remember much better. So that's where the idea came from.
They hope to have the project completed by spring, and the students are excited to be able to start teaching the people at LifeQuest through plants.
Project is really important to us because, we're helping out the community because our community is so good to us.
I'm just most excited to see the reactions from the individuals. I've met a lot of them through the time my mom's worked there, and I know they're going to be super stoked about it.
Not only will the students build the garden, they'll help plant and tend it, but they still need to raise $1,000 to finish it. You can read more on these special reports in the next AgWeek magazine or at agweek.com. Up next on AgweekTV, a rural North Dakota man holds the distinction of being the world's longest surviving heart transplant recipient.
Integrity, excellence, teamwork. At Titan Machinery, we take care of our team. Whether you're an experienced technician or looking to start your career, Titan has a spot for you. Earn a competitive pay with the potential to make upwards of 6 figures. Service techs, come grow with a company that invests in you. Titan Machinery offers company HSA and 401k contributions, free single healthcare and generous tool allowance. Plus, we'll provide all your uniforms and safety gear. Apply today at titanmachinery.com/careers.
When it comes to grain storage and handling solutions, one call does it all. Gateway Building Systems is one of the largest Brock bin dealers in the U.S. Our expert team is dedicated to creating a customized plan for your future success. Expanding your operation has never been easier with our range of Brock solid bins, grain dryers, conveyors, and more. As your trusted partner, we are committed to serving the needs of farmers. Take the first step toward success and call Gateway Building Systems today.
Risk management is not just for the grains. Livestock producers, did you know you too can protect the price for your production? Livestock Risk Protection, or LRP for short, is a great tool to help you protect the price of your calves. Cattle producers can also protect their pasture and hayland from lack of rainfall with Pasture Rangeland Forage, or PRF insurance. This is a very affordable way to help producers in times of below average rainfall. Call the Risk Management Specialist, Martinson Ag Risk Management.
So in 2017, RTD developed a thing called Whip Drain, and it is a drainage and aeration platform for many types of stockpiles. Sand or aggregates, sugar beets or potatoes. We can drain the water away from the product, and we can also force air into the platform and aerate the whole bottom of it. We've designed it so you can operate 988 cat loaders. I think they weigh about 140,000 pounds. Whip Drain is engineered to withstand that type of treatment.
Some things in life are hard. That's why banking shouldn't be. Cornerstone Bank.
Farmers in southeastern South Dakota have been working around rain conditions this season to get their crops out of the fields. Kenny Sheeplin had to stop harvesting his soybeans and transition to corn while they wait for the field to dry in Jefferson, South Dakota. They've had over 10 inches of rain at his farm since September 1st.
It's been really dry all year, and now that we're trying to harvest, we got a little over 10 inches of rain, which is great long term, not necessarily ideal during harvest.
In the soybean, Sheeplin has seen several diseases, including stem blight, charcoal rot, and fusarium. He contributes this to the cool spring and the hot, dry summer. In the corn, he has seen some gray leaf spot. Soybean yields are down by 10 to 15% compared to last year, and irrigated corn is seeing average yields. A retired Maddock, North Dakota farmer holds a very distinct honor. In October of 1979, Brent Evg got a new heart to replace his diseased one when heart transplants were very new. Today, at age 64, he is the world's longest surviving heart transplant recipient. Rose Dunn talked with him about how that saved his life and the importance of organ donation.
This story isn't our usual Ag Week content, but it's an important one about organ donation, and it's personal to me. Brent Evge and I grew up together in North Fargo, so I well remember his groundbreaking heart transplant 44 years ago this month.
So, yeah, I'm the unicorn.
Brent Evge grew up in Fargo, and after graduating from North High in 1977, he joined the Navy. But about a year in, at age 19, he got sick while deployed in the Mediterranean. Cardiomyopathy severely damaging his heart.
They discharged me from the Navy, sent me back to Fargo. They gave me 6 months to 2 years to live. And
during that time, he happened to see a movie about an athlete who got a heart transplant.
I didn't even know they existed at that time. And I said, I'm going to get me one of those,
So he contacted his Navy doctors, who referred him to Stanford. It was one of just 3 hospitals in the U.S. doing heart transplants at that time. He got his new heart there in October of 1979, done by transplant pioneer Dr. Stuart Jameson.
Yeah, it was experimental surgery. I mean, that was how it was deemed. And
at the time, the average heart transplant survival rate was just 5 years. But as he recovered, Brent tried to get back to a normal life. He started farming and raising buffalo near Maddock, North Dakota.
I used to, got to know a lot of people in that buffalo industry and traveled around, going here and there, going to the stock shows and stuff. So
he still relies on about 10 medications a day, and some have led to other health issues. But although his heart is 15 years older than he is, it's still going strong.
I like to go fishing and go hunting and be outside, and I like traveling. Just trying to enjoy life. I do have the limitations, and I know what they are, so I don't overdo it. And
Brent is grateful to his doctors, but he says he also relies on a higher power.
Faith is a big part of my life, and I do believe that I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that.
He's especially thankful for his donor, and he urges everyone to become an organ donor.
But the biggest thing right now is there's not enough organ donors. There's not enough people signing up, and then their families, come that terrible time when their loved one passes, allowing their wishes to be fulfilled.
Brent doesn't really understand the fuss about his world record, but he's happy to hold it.
I'm just very, very lucky, very blessed.
In Fargo, this is Rose Dunn for Ag Week.
Brent credits his longevity in part that he is diligent about taking his medications and regular visits with his cardiologists. Ahead on AgweekTV, we'll travel to a Minnesota pumpkin patch that's known for its horse-drawn carriage rides.
There's no easy button, no guarantees, or promises of a good year. This is farming. It's unpredictable and demanding, with long days and sometimes stressful nights. It's weathering the storms and coming out successful. Farming isn't for everyone. We thank those who make it their life, because it is for everyone.
Mice are a real problem and get into everything. They leave a scent trail, bringing more mice to the party. Poisons and traps just lure mice in, leaving you with the mess and costly damage. Introducing Mouse Mix, the world's safest and most effective deterrent. The pleasant scent interferes with the mouse's sense of smell. Simply put, they can't stand it. Mouse Mix works 6 months for complete winter storage of campers, cabins, boats, cars, and farm equipment. Mouse Mix, you put it out and the mice leave.
Getting down to business on the farm means hitting the office early, making sure your team's ready to go, getting updates from the field, and talking with your management team. At Bremer Bank, we understand the business of farming and how to protect and grow your operation, so you can be sure your present and your future are in good hands.
Grain handling and storage projects done efficient, reliable, and hassle-free. With the one-stop shop of advanced grain handling systems. Get better test weights and less crop damage with their continuous mixed-flow grain dryers from Grain Handler and Nico. Get grain bins built to last from West Steel and Sioux Steel. Advanced Grain customizes each project to maximize your farm production. Contact Advanced Grain Handling Systems in Mayville for a free quote and site consultation.
AgWeek weather is sponsored by Bremer Bank. Connect with a banker today at bremer.com.
Will it be a chilly Halloween weekend? Here's John with our AgriWeather Outlook.
The first big winter storm system to affect the northern plains, in other words, places other than the Rocky Mountains, has happened this past week into especially North Dakota. And that has definitely brought in much colder weather. Typically, cold weather follows a big snowstorm. Those early snowstorms definitely do that. For one thing, suddenly the ground is covered in snow. And that snow, of course, reflecting whatever sunlight is coming through, tends to create a pool of cold air that can even impact areas other than those snow-covered areas. So we've got cold and snow-covered ground to talk about how long this will linger, because it's kind of at that late October, early November period. It's conceivable this could be the start of winter in some areas, although it could also melt away. So we'll talk about that. Meanwhile, many areas of the central and eastern part of the Midwest are looking fairly dry, with some ideal weather for the wrap-up of corn bean harvest over here in this part of the country. Jet streams did kind of merge to form a couple of little waves to generate the North Dakota snow last week. And now with that northern jet stream so far south, we've got some pretty cold weather into the northern plains. As that begins to retreat, it will be primarily the snow-covered areas that remain below or right near freezing. The light blue areas are going to be pretty cool, and that's going to mean a lot of the northern tier. Midwest looking fairly cool. Even this week, with the southern jet going so far south, you're seeing some fairly cool air drop down at least into the mid-south. That'll bring some scattered frosts into these areas. Nothing, of course, for the real deep south. That will continue to be fairly mild. The middle west will begin to warm up with a bit of ridging toward the end of this week. That looks like it'll be temporary, with that warm weather headed east and pulling back some warm air from the Gulf of Mexico. Hot weather for the most part in South Florida, coast of Texas, and at least at times in the desert southwest, the southern part. As we get into the second week, which is well into November now, we're still seeing a lot of cold weather lingering across North Dakota, the northern Great Lakes, and northern New England. That's near or below freezing weather. The rest of this just cool, and the major jet stream still being fairly split. Looks like a fairly non-stormy weather pattern. For this week, I do expect a modest amount of precipitation along the East Coast, rain south, snow in the north. Most of the Middle West looks fairly dry, and the Pacific Northwest and the Northern Rockies, Canadian Rockies, will get some precipitation. This looks like lighter snow first few days of November into parts of North Dakota, Manitoba. And then after that, it looks mostly pretty dry in the midsection of the country. The far southeast looks wet, and the Pacific Northwest and Northern Rockies will continue to pile up that snow.
Grain handling and storage projects done efficient, reliable, and hassle-free. With the one-stop shop of Advanced Grain Handling Systems. Get better test weights and less crop damage with their continuous mixed-flow grain dryers from Grain Handler and Nico. Get grain bins built to last from West Steel and Sioux Steel. Advanced Grain customizes each project to maximize your farm production. Contact Advanced Grain Handling Systems in Mayville for a free quote and site consultation.
A farmer's work is never done. You're not just planting a seed or harvesting a crop. You're growing a legacy. When you're up before dawn and out long past dusk, you need a banker who will work with your schedule, not the other way around. At Choice, we do banking differently, giving farmers like you time back to focus on what really matters. Choice Bank, top North Dakota Ag Bank for 10 years running, and always people first.
It was October 1st, 2009. We needed some machinery for the farm. We decided to see if we could become a dealer, and that's kind of grown into what it's been today.
We offer basically anything short line. seed tenders, fertilizer spreaders, sprayers. We can really set ourselves apart by the knowledge we have in those things, by the amount of units we have on hand at all times.
I just have a passion for helping people, getting to know people. It just becomes a lot of fun.
Risk management is not just for the grains. Livestock producers, did you know you too can protect the price for your production? Livestock Risk Protection, or LRP for short, is a great tool to help you protect the price of your calves. Cattle producers can also protect their pasture and hayland from lack of rainfall with pasture, rangeland forage, or PRF insurance. This is a very affordable way to help producers in times of below average rainfall. Call the risk management specialist, Martinson Ag Risk Management.
Fall is a busy time on the farm, not just for harvest, but for agritourism as well. A farm in southeast Minnesota is raising more scares than crops. A Zimbrota dairy farm built in 1920 is now the Fright farm. Ted Gallaty bought it in 2015 to make it the permanent location of the haunted attraction every October. He's also a licensed industrial hemp and cannabis grower. He has several varieties of hemp, and in 2018, he added a haunted cannabis maze. Each year, they partner with local arts organizations, which provide volunteer actors who help with the frights.
It's just, it's a good time to come out, enjoy the fall activities out here at the farm. And we'll just continue doing this. And every year we grow it a little bit bigger and we add a little bit more amusement, a little bit more fun out here at the attraction.
Gallaty estimates about 10,000 people will come out to the Fright farm this month. Pumpkin patches become a popular agritourism destination in the fall. I visited Buffalo River Pumpkin Patch in Glendon, Minnesota, where they're offering more than just your typical pumpkin patch experience.
Each autumn, Mike and Mitty Halverson watch the public partake in some fall festive fun on their family's farm, right outside their windows.
You know, being so close to the FM area, you're just seeing not a lot of people get to see that type of thing. So people just don't go out and get to see a farm in operation and get to see petting zoo animals that are farm animals and see perch-on horses. It's not an everyday thing. So it's become a big attraction for a lot of people that come back year after year.
The Halversons used to own a local carriage business and were doing wagon rides for a pumpkin patch near Moorhead, Minnesota. When the patch owner decided he wanted to retire, the Halversons moved the operation to their farm 20 years ago. Now they use their horses for carriage rides on their trails, right on their own pumpkin patch.
We do actually. The horse-drawn wagon ride is probably one of our biggest attractions because my wife does a really good job of decorating the trail back there.
So it goes from a very quiet farm during the spring and summer to very busy on the weekends.
Mindy Halverson enjoys watching all the families come out and enjoy their farm and pick their perfect pumpkin. However, their pumpkin crop is slimmer this year.
This year we had kind of a rough pumpkin year. We put ours in later than probably the average gardener just because we don't want them ripe too soon. And when we got them in, we didn't get rain for probably 2-3 weeks, so they did not sprout right away.
Besides carriage rides in their pumpkin patch, they also have a petting zoo, a straw maze, a scarecrow scavenger hunt, an enchanted forest, and much more.
We try to add a little something every year just so our families that come back each year have something to look forward to.
During the winter months, the Halversons Percherons travel to Dallas, Texas, where they work the Christmas season. Up next on AgweekTV, we'll meet a man who spent 4 decades in FFA.
For home delivery of AgWeek, log on to agweek.com or call 800-811-2580.
Dig, lay, and bury drain tile all in one pass.
with the Crary Tile Pro Plow. The Crary Tile Pro Plow lays tile up to 7 feet deep with boot sizes of 4 to 12 inches. Advantages of installing drain tile to your field provides increased overall yield, improved soil moisture levels, and controls soil erosion. It pays to tile with a Crary Tile Pro. To locate a dealer near you, visit www.crarytilepro.com.
When it comes to grain storage and handling solutions, one call does it all. Gateway Building Systems is one of the largest Brock bin dealers in the U.S. Our expert team is dedicated to creating a customized plan for your future success. Expanding your operation has never been easier with our range of Brock solid bins, grain dryers, conveyors, and more. As your trusted partner, we are committed to serving the needs of farmers. Take the first step toward success and call Gateway Building Systems today.
Hi, Bill Kelsey here, Geringhoff Territory Manager, covering northern Minnesota and the Dakotas. At Geringhoff, we offer a full line of the best harvest headers and residue management systems on the market.
Contact me today to discuss your farm's needs. From there, I'll connect you with an authorized Geringhoff dealer.
Getting down to business on the farm means hitting the office early, making sure your team's ready to go, getting updates from the field, and talking with your management team. At Bremer Bank, we understand the business of farming and how to protect and grow your operation, so you can be sure your present and your future are in good hands.
The story of a farm is the story of a family. From generations past to generations to come, families have raised their children and the crops that sustain our country on the same fields. Today, with a better nitrogen, farmers can continue to take care of what matters most, the land they work and the people they do it with.
One South Dakota man is stepping down from his role with the National FFA after more than 40 years. Lon Moeller has been involved with FFA since his freshman year of high school in 1961. He went on to become a high school ag teacher and agriculture education professor at South Dakota State University, and then began serving on the National FFA Farm and Agribusiness Management CDE Committee.
I think the best part of the time is just being able to interact with people. I mean, how many people have an opportunity to work with people from all across the nation?
Even though Moeller is stepping down from his position on the Farm and Agribusiness CDE Committee, he still plans to be involved as a consultant for the new chairman, as well as help edit the exams. Stories you'll only see on AgWeek.com and in AgWeek magazine this week. American Crystal sugar farmers had a sugar beet record harvest in 2023. And Mid-Ac Farmers Cooperative and Southern Minnesota Beet Sugar Co-op also reported strong yields. And a North Dakota livestock development specialist is studying whether expansion of the state's livestock industry would financially benefit the farmers and ranchers who produce the animals. We appreciate you watching AgweekTV. Remember to check us out daily on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok to keep up on all your ag news. Have a wonderful week, everyone.